if someone says to you as you're in the midst of a conversation, I feel like you're not really hearing me, or I feel like you're not really listening to me, what is the response that comes up in you? Because initially, before we started doing some of this journey and some of this work, my response is like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm listening to you. I've
Right.
just given you 5 things that you need to do so to make sure that never happens again. And
Right.
here's what you should have done.
Yeah. Truth be told, with the journey we've been on with listening, it's gotten to where if I'll have said something, and Robin might be doing some things in the kitchen, and then she'll ask me a question within a minute or two of that same thing, I'll go, you weren't listening. Which is always that little jab now that you're talking about.
A little playful.
And we've been through this quite a while, but I've heard that for a lot of my life.
With God, there is always more. More love, more life, more freedom. Welcome to Zoe's Exploring More with Michael Thompson. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Our Heavenly Father has provided many delightful inns for us along our journey, but He takes great care to see that we do not mistake any of them for home." Join me and the team as we explore the kingdom together, discovering the deep truths and offering encouragement for the journey. There is always more.
Welcome, friends and allies, to the Exploring More podcast. Hanging out with Michael Thompson, SJ Jennings.
You're hanging out with you?
Yeah.
I take me wherever I go.
They're hanging out with us.
I see.
And exploring the kingdom, and in the middle of a series on listening well. And a couple reasons why we kind of dove into this. One, we've been on a journey, as we've talked about, I think, in some other episodes.
Yeah.
We are on a journey.
Continuing.
And continuing to learn the loving ways of the kingdom, the kind ways of the kingdom, even the strong ways of the kingdom. And this is one of those, all 3 of that. It's all 3 of those items of listening well. And when I think, SJ, about a couple pieces that we've covered, why does this matter? We're made for connection. We're made for intimacy. It calls us to levels of vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
And when we've experimented with that over the years, and they weren't experiments when they happened, I'm just saying when
we didn't know they were.
No, we didn't know they were. But when we have stepped out and into those moments of trying to be honest, trying to be seen, heard, understood, vulnerable moments, and that doesn't go well, we call that wounding. We call being missed, having your heart bruised, if you will.
Misunderstood.
Yeah, and all of that feels like something.
Yeah.
And that kind of stems back to this idea of we weren't listened to.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't cared for. We weren't seen, and in many ways had our whatever it is we're trying to express, feelings or the story that we want to tell of what happened. When people don't listen, particularly caregivers, a mom, a dad, older siblings, even younger siblings, coaches, teachers, it just can get crappy from there.
Yeah, man. It's funny. I just heard this song. I had one of those radio stations playing on Spotify. You know how you can pick an artist and they make a radio based on that. Yeah. Well, I was listening to some 70s stuff, and that song from Cat Stevens, Father and Son, came on. And one of the lines in
Cats in the Cradle?
No, it's called Father and Son by Cat Stevens.
Okay.
And I think he goes by Yusuf now or something.
Oh.
But anyway, yeah, Cats in the Cradle is one.
Yeah.
Where
that's what I thought we were talking about.
No, this one's Father and Son is the name of it. And there's a line in there where, basically it's the father talking to the son about growing up and all of that. And one of the lines in there is, by the time that I could talk, I was ordered to listen. And as you're talking about childhood, and you're talking about, being missed, misunderstood, not heard, not listened to, it's like you finally get this voice, and then remember, I know you do because you've told the story, being a dad, talking through your teeth.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we're ordered to listen like that by parents who are operating out of their false selves, siblings
Anger,
who are, right? And so it just shuts something down in us.
Yeah.
In many, many ways, and totally short circuits our understanding of what listening and being listened to really is.
Yeah. So why listening matters and why it's a bit of review.
Yeah.
But bro, we just made 2 minutes, 3 minutes, because everything hinges on that.
Right.
From formative years to current realities,
right.
60, 50,
54.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what we've learned and what we've practiced these last couple decades as we've, moved into this full-time space of Zoe and walking and working with men, women, marriages, families. This is huge. It's just so huge. And so there's a remedy to these wounding moments when you weren't listened to, weren't cared for, didn't have your emotions, feelings validated. And let me just say, SJ, an 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old may not be interpreting accurately.
Chances are they're not.
What the reality of it is, but they are still articulating how they're feeling.
Right.
And giving some kind of expression as to, how this makes me feel, how I see it. Mm-hmm. And when you shut down the listening process and pull the card of control or telling someone how to think or feel, you're missing the whole point, the whole opportunity, and the whole invitation to be an example of good care.
Right. But instead, you become an unwitting partner in the corruption of understanding of what good care is, right?
And it's brutal.
Yeah.
Because that's then what we learn. Not safe, can't trust. Okay, this is punitive. If I don't get it right the first time, they're not going to listen to me explain why that happened. Mm-hmm. Why the dog ran off. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why maybe some chore might not have been done.
I came home without my jacket. I mean,
a variety of things, and you're not given any opportunity, not only to fail, but also to explain.
Yeah,
it's just it teaches things to young hearts that when they become older, ironically, then you end up teaching some of the same.
That's right.
Same things, some of the same behaviors. So you don't get out of this or away from this until you start to really see what is your way, and so it matters. If not being listened to is very hurtful, harmful, and even wounding, then we could make the case for why this matters. Because if you are listened to, if you do listen well, it can be very healing.
Very, very healing.
It can be very
healing and revealing,
and
revealing of
redeeming.
Things. Yeah, mm-hmm. I mean, when you first experienced, maybe tell the story, or of an experience of being heard and feeling listened to.
Yeah,
and what that I ask you that because what you provoked in me was this response of it's healing. But it also opens the door to things that might have just been shut off.
Yeah.
Because you've not had an opportunity to be heard.
Yeah. There are a couple things come to mind. One person that made me feel seen and wanted. It was the way my grandmother Thompson reacted to when we kind of hit the door. Mm-hmm. It was you would have thought it was a party every time. You would have thought it was a celebration of some, and we didn't live that far. I mean, we lived out west when I was a boy, younger, but we moved back to just an hour or so away from where my parents, who were high school sweethearts, grew up. And so when we would go visit, which didn't just have to be Christmas and Thanksgiving and things, it would be, just because we wanted to, or an opportunity for different reasons to just go hit the interstate for a little while and go to this small town in Oklahoma. But she would get up, she would move towards us, the cupping of the face.
Yeah.
So when I was in college, now that's some boyhood. When I'm in college, it didn't stop. I went to the university just down the road from where they were. So laundry and meatloaf sandwiches and cookies and there were still cookies, and I could come by. I don't know how she got them baked that fast, but there were times, hey, Grandma was going to come by tomorrow or tonight. And so there was always this reception.
Welcoming.
Yeah. But if I really look at it, SJ, I would say so that was kind of the greeting. And then it was, sit down right here. So the cookies were just this means to get me sitting still.
Trap
me in entrapment.
Right.
And say, tell me all about it.
Yeah.
Tell me all about it. How are you? What's going on at school? How's basketball? How are the girls?
Right.
All of the things that, came at kind of the price of, all right, laundry, meal, cookies, all good. And yet it was way more than that I think was attractive to me and had my, had me trained to, go get filled up, go get cared for, go get,
not just with meatloaf and cookies.
No,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But with the emotional, food, if you will, like you're alluding to, that our souls desire, that we're made for.
Yeah. Most of us are starving for.
Right. So that's why it all matters so much. And why we're talking about it. Yeah. So we're going to dive into some other pieces and parts of listening well, and we'll be right back on the Exploring More podcast in just a minute. It's good for you. It builds confidence, a strong heart, and a sense of belonging. And of course, brotherhood. I'm talking about allies. At Zoe, we believe that no man should go it alone. So we've created 2 national Zoom groups for men, the West and the East Circles. They kick off again this fall, and you're invited. So get signed up, pick up your copy of The Heart of a Warrior, and join us for a strength-building journey. Got allies? I hope so. Welcome back to the Exploring More podcast and talking about listening. SJ, this is just one more touch of review. We talked about the powerful nature of listening in some previous podcasts. And I just want to hit these and have you, I just want you to comment just what comes to mind, either an illustration or story, however you might want to express what these helpful and powerful ways of listening, how they might look like. So being fully present emotionally and physically.
Yeah.
Okay. Being fully present emotionally and physically. Offering our undivided attention, and empathy and safety. 2 really good words, empathy and safety. And then lastly, another helpful listening encouragement is to mirror and name what you hear, validating emotion as well as pain.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in the last episode, the mirroring idea. There's a fine line between empathy and relating and making it about you, right? There's a very fine line. Like you were talking about active listening.
It ought to be a massive line.
Yeah, but it's
so that we don't do that.
It's what I mean by that is it's easy to tip over into that ain't nothing. and in that kind of a realm, and even in a previous episode, you talked about being trained in active listening,
Mm-hmm.
being, somebody tells you something hard they're going through, and then,
Yeah.
you say, well, I had an experience very similar to that, and here's
I know.
my story.
I know
and blah, blah,
exactly
blah, blah,
what
blah.
I know exactly what you mean. You strike that from your listening. Strike that from your conversation.
So the mirroring is less about, I had wisdom teeth taken out. Well, I had 4 wisdom teeth taken out, and it's more about being with the person. So if you're telling me something very, very traumatic that happened to you, and that my face should express something related to what you're sharing.
Yeah, to the degree that you're listening.
Right. So that's more the mirroring of like, oh my gosh, that how did you even get through that? I mean, and just meeting the person where they are. And
yeah, expressions like that. That's a great one. They indicate there's indicators that you are listening.
Yeah.
Physical expression.
Validation. Right.
Leaning in. Giving them that eye contact. We've talked about there's certain people who they're so engaged in their listening. If you're telling something exciting or scary, the mirroring can look like
their
eyebrows are up. Like go on.
You're talking.
You're saying in nonverbal ways, go on.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I do that, what am I saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like what happened next?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going.
Right.
Or you're telling. I mean, this is good to have on camera a little bit. I think we can practice a few of those.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's saying, something that happened to them. One of my daughters was in an accident, hit and run the other day, and so we're on the phone talking, which is a different, my face, my physical presence. But when she came to visit the weekend after, and we're engaged in that, and she's revisiting some of that. There was still enough
emotive.
Yeah, and when she's talking about wanting to. Yeah, how can I report this guy? I'm like, my face is going.
That's so.
Yeah, man, I'm giving my pirate face.
Yeah,
like, let's go kill that guy. Where is he?
Take him to Geneva.
I'm with you. And I'm like, so there's so many ways to enter into the kind of listening that's like, oh my gosh, without even interrupting, but just engaging her. Yeah, man.
Right.
That makes me sick too.
I remember when she called you too.
We were
right
that's
after
right.
it happened.
Yeah.
And you told me I couldn't hear her side of the conversation, but it was the I was so
I just got
and you're just kind of like, what is happening? But I saw you get more and more concerned.
Yeah.
And I saw the listening and the emoting on your face that you're talking about. But it's great you got to share that with her one-on-one.
And unfortunately, as you brought up earlier, some of us have been met with stories like that with, well, what did you do? Were you in the right lane?
Yeah. Or
were you paying attention?
Yeah. Or hey, at least you didn't get hurt.
Or all kinds of, it's hard to talk about, proper listening and then don't do this kind of stuff.
Oh, no.
And
it's hard to not
and somehow segment them into different parts of the episode when they just come up that quickly in our minds. Like, and I've done that, that corrective expression or challenging to a moment. Even that assumption as you're trying to listen and you go right to, well, were you driving the speed limit? I mean, making it did
you look in your mirrors?
An evaluation. Yeah. Did you not see him coming? Just not helpful. I understand the practical reality of that, and maybe you could get into that, but this person is initially saying, care for me, not correct me.
Right.
And I think that is would be a huge component of listening well.
Yeah. I think that's what most people are saying. Yeah. Not just about car accidents or things like that, but just, I don't need your suggestions or your correction, or I just want to be heard.
Yeah.
so many of us, all of us, just want to be heard. And I think here's one that kind of straddles both, one that's helpful and one that's something that's unhelpful. Both is if someone says to you as you're in the midst of a conversation, I feel like you're not really hearing me, or I feel like you're not really listening to me. What is the response that comes up in you? Because initially, before we started doing some of this journey and some of this work, my response is like, what are you talking about? You know?
Yeah.
I'm listening to you. I've just given you 5 things that you need to do so to make sure that never happens again. And you know, like, here's what you should have done.
Yeah.
I mean, so how you can receive that, even a comment like that, is, okay, you know what? You're right. I am distracted, or that. Yeah.
Truth be told, you know, with the journey we've been on with listening, like if I, in the kitchen table, sometimes the living and family room, you know, these are the places that it can go down in terms of listening or not listening. Obviously, you know, as you talk to your spouse, maybe at bedtime, you know, there can be some exchange of stuff, but it's gotten to where if I'll have said something, you know, and Robin might be doing some things in the kitchen, and then she'll ask me a question within a minute or two of that same thing, you know, I'll go, you weren't listening. Which is always that little jab now. Now that you're talking about
a little playful.
And we've been through this quite a while, but I've heard that for a lot of my life. You know, so there is a little retribution in there for me to say, I told you that you weren't listening. Anyway.
I'm starting to get trained now. I can recognize it when someone's not listening.
And why is it okay for you?
To
throw the encroachment flag, right? It's a 5-yard penalty. It's not always a personal foul, and I never call penalties on you. Anyway,
we were at a marriage event, man, and they handed out the yellow flags like the referees throw. I'm like, I'm not sure
flags
that's a great idea.
Flying everywhere, flying at people. Yeah, you can see an official every now and then. They'll throw it in the middle of the fence.
Hit a guy with it, you know.
So,
have you seen? There's some commercial too. I think it's an insurance commercial or something. I can't remember what it is, but it's a replay. Like the couples are arguing or something, and they throw the replay flag.
Yes, so good.
I did not leave the sunroof open, you know, and there's some really good examples of how not to listen in there.
Right. There's a proverb, 18:13. I love how the message says, answering before listening is both stupid and rude. Yeah. You got to love the message version.
Yeah. I heard that first one, I think, with Gary Barkalow. He at our one of our advanced weekends.
Yeah.
He brought that where answers before questions are just not helpful. Right. So as we're listening, right, we oftentimes just want to bring answers.
Yeah.
When what we need to do most of the time is just ask some more questions.
Flip that. And if say it again.
Answers before questions are not helpful.
So flip it.
So questions before answers
are very helpful.
Very helpful.
It's very helpful.
I see where you're going. Yes.
Just the reverse is extremely helpful in this.
It is.
In this attempt to listen.
Yeah.
You know, and
questions are
great. Again, back to my daughter, like, were you doing the speed limit? I'm not talking about that kind of question. Right?
Honey, are you okay?
The first one was, honey, are you okay? Where are you?
Right.
You know, I am now very present. Yeah. Are you on the side of the highway? Are you, you know,
in the middle of the highway? Right.
What, and trying to, you know, in that case, assess some things, but even to hear a story of the day, you know, from one of your children or your spouse, sometimes some questions of clarity, especially in a story that might involve some different people. And I get it. You know, somebody's got to track with you know what you're talking about, and you have the logic of, no, I'm not talking about, no, I know I said SJ a minute ago, I'm talking about Sherry. Right. You know, so sometimes those questions can be interruptions, but they're the kind of interruptions for, you know, clarity. I lost the train, you know, I somehow, who is this? Is this her friend, or is this her mom? You know, what's going on?
Right.
So
clarifying questions are very
can be helpful.
No
and so so I'm not saying that there's no such thing as interruption, but if you are going to interrupt, let it be for clarity, and then let it be kind, and rather than cross-examination.
Yeah, because what'd you do that for is a question.
There's so many bad questions. We can just list them.
Yeah.
I wanted to hit some and I want you to define some of these, or we can have some fun with these. Because I think there's some names for these. Robin and who's worked on the listening guide quite a bit. The advice giver, that person thinks they're listening, but with what context? What would that sound and look like? The advice giver.
The advice giver is,
what's their favorite line?
You know what you should do. Far and away.
That is telltale terrible listening.
Man.
You know what you should do.
Yeah.
You know what you should have done.
Right.
Well, you know what I would do.
Yeah.
Any variation of that is the advice giver. Right. And they think they're listening.
And being helpful.
So that they can then teach. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's pretty frustrating. I think there is a time and a place for that, for the advice giver, but I think it's, if you're a good listener and you're pretty good at assessing a situation, I think I'm pretty good at this. Assess a situation. Yeah. Here's how we're going to resolve this. Here's what, to remedy the situation, whatever it might be. A great thing for you to do is to get all the information through asking some questions. Yeah. And then the last question can be, would you like some input on maybe
great question
how to move forward, or whatever the situation might be?
Yeah, because what you should do is not really a question. It's that rhetorical, like, I'm about to tell you something.
Oh yeah.
But if you said, and you practiced even some of these other engaging ways, because I did get to that place with my daughter, like, okay, have you called 911?
Right.
Have you let
some of the practical things?
Yes. Have
that
you let
in the middle of a traumatic situation?
Can you get out? Can you get out of your car?
Right.
Or so there's time, like you're saying, timing. It's great. Yeah. It's a great idea. And the advice giver, there's never really a great time for even that if you're doing it in a hierarchical me, you.
Right. I have had
superiority.
Have this figured out, and I can see the situation way more clearly than you. And, that might be true.
Right.
But you don't have to, delivery, right, is so important. Yeah. It can even just be, wow, that's really, really terrible, or that's really, really hard. How can I help?
Beautiful question.
Way different.
Very kindly laid.
Right.
What do you need from me? How can I
what can I do?
Bring some encouragement or help, or do you need me to call somebody? Do you want me to go get something? Those are great. And you'll know what kind of questions to ask, I think, in that way, if you've listened well to even what they're saying, and how they're saying it. All right. So there's this other one, the story diverter. So this is kind of I get it, the ADD, ADHD guy. You're talking about the lawn as just a place that you were, but now I'm stuck in, oh man, you ought to see my lawn.
Yeah. Right.
I got so many.
It's funny how that's a diversion off, but then it all comes back to like.
Yeah. You're not even you're not telling me a story about lawns and lawn care. You're telling me a story about that's where the dog came and I thought it was going to attack me.
Right.
Speaking of lawns.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah. Oh, you got into a hit and run accident. Yeah. Well, you probably can. They probably won't total the car. And if you need help finding a new car, I'm glad to help you with that. And
I remember when my car was totaled. I had back in '92.
Right.
These are not opportunities for you to tell your story.
Right.
And that was we talked about, that was just one of the big kind of crimes we committed with active listening. It was taught that you need to bring something to that conversation that lets that person know you can relate to them.
Right.
And so we would try to bring a story about things like, oh man, I know exactly what you mean.
Mm.
And then you start into your story.
Yeah. Or I know exactly how that feels.
This is what happened to me. Yeah.
The
Those are
greater
not good. Not good.
Yeah.
So investigator, we've hit on this, but that's a kind of listening that is a little bit more like Joe Friday.
Right. Just the facts, nothing but questions, not a whole lot of, emotive response. Just, I've sat with guys like that before, and the interpretation that I get is like, they just can't wait to get out of there. Like they just want to get through. It's kind of like when you were, given a pop quiz when you were in school. I just want to get through all the answers and move on to what's next.
Yeah.
And
move on to a solution.
Yeah, sometimes.
Move on.
Yeah,
to
right. So the great point.
Fix it.
Sometimes there's hyphenations of these ways that are unhelpful. Right. The bulldozer / advice giver is, or the investigator / advice giver.
Have you seen this one reel? I don't know why it comes to mind right now, but it says there's one reel. It's usually younger girls, women, calling their dad and saying, "Hey, Dad, the car won't start." He goes, "What do you mean the car won't start?" Well, the car won't start. I was at the gas station and there was this. They had out of order on a couple of the pumps, but the green pump was fine. So I just pumped.
And I had to kind of pour it in there with a funnel.
You hear this? No. Versus are you okay on the side of the road?
Implication being diesel in a gasoline engine. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or got to take advantage of it. A garage had the bill was $100 for air, the special air, So I mean the reactionary. Right. I think of the reactionary listener who's very themselves are not in control of their emotions, especially when it relates to their wife, their kids, their family.
Yeah.
It seems like the very place we should have the most patience and skill at listening is where we demonstrate the least.
Mm-hmm. And with some empathy, I have to say, if you're at home, you got 3 girls, that at one time it was pandalirium at your house, so you're trying to keep all the plates spinning and just keep everybody alive and fed.
Oh yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
It's hard,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think if you can start to integrate some of these things that we're talking about a bit at a time, or de-integrate them, like
get them out of your
quit doing that,
out of your listening abilities.
That's
or
all
skills.
We're saying is just start to become aware of it and move a little bit differently.
Yeah, we talked about some of the physical things. I want to go back to those. Like most people aren't even aware of some of the sounds they make when they listen. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Like you just ate the greatest cheesecake ever,
Yeah. It can be a little bit weird.
Aha.
Yeah.
There's just weirdness sometimes that comes out of us, right?
And
the empathetic groaner is the way that's
the category
here, right?
But I was thinking how to set that one up to be like, oh man, or just being aware of the noises that we're making. It's not even a sentence, but it's
right.
It's ooh.
Ooh, and to me it's the repetition of it.
Yeah.
And
that's what makes it
and the volume, not auditory volume, but like the number of times,
It's a Saturday Night Live skit, right? I mean, it's teed up for Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Or I think of Seinfeld, Elaine.
Oh yeah.
Get out!
Yeah. Right.
Her reaction is just a shove, like, shut up! You're kidding, I
have to go back and look and see what some of the other Seinfeld listening responses.
Yeah, I think the other one. And people say it. So, and this could be I would say if this is something that you're experiencing with somebody, then you might want to play the card like, hey, I need you to listen to me for a minute. Make it really clear. Like, could you stop doing the dishes just for a minute?
I need your eyes.
Yeah, because you can come into a room and some going to the garage, your dad's under the car. It's the timing of telling him.
Oh.
Now, if you're bleeding, I mean, of course.
Right.
But
Dad, I chopped my finger off.
Yeah, yeah. But the timing of being the storyteller, of being the one inviting somebody to engage, that could matter. And are you picking good times? Are you picking bad times? Hey, is this a good time? I've got something I really want to share. I need you to listen. And ultimately, I'd love for you to give me some advice, but I'd really like for you to listen to me.
That's great.
For a few minutes.
As the one that wants to be listened to, and vice versa, to the listener. I am still working on this, where I tend to be focused when I'm doing something. I'm focused on that thing, whatever it is. And particularly, I was working on talks that we have for an event coming up, and this came up again. So I'm typing, and I'm train of thought. I'm going somewhere with the writing that I'm doing, and Sherry starts just talking to me. Just starts talking. Not a like, hey, hun, sorry to interrupt. Just starts talking, and she's going, and I'm not paying any attention. Like, I know she's in the room, but I'm not listening at all. So then I start to get frustrated because, I'm trying to finish. And so this has happened many times in our marriage. So what we came up with, just to kind of move to the solution pretty quickly, is for me to say, please stand by, because I need to finish whatever it is that I'm focused on, whether I'm under the car changing the oil or I'm typing away at a laptop. I just need a second to finish what I'm doing.
Very
then
kind.
I can give you my undivided attention. Yeah. So, let me show you what's not helpful. You want the example? Type. She's talking. What?
Yeah.
Not.
The
glasses are not really a prop. I actually have done that before. So don't do that either.
It's kind of a counter, move to, And these, I think some of the practical nature of these things can lend themselves to just better conversations, better timing.
Oh yeah.
Better, more opportunity to, get to the bottom of what might really be going on. It's hard to just bring up examples, but I go back to the questions. So how, when can you, I think good listening is when can you appropriately ask the questions for clarity?
Yeah.
And if I don't know, there's got to be a lot of people like me. There's things that I might even say, if I know that I'm into something that's going to be conversational with Robin about one of our kids or about our finances, or, I might just need to say, hey, can I just grab a pen? I had a thought. Mm-hmm. Keep going. All right, keep going. Because I'm engaged and I'm listening, and I might forget something that I want to either ask her, and she might get to it. I know it's a bit of an interruption in that regard, but at the same time, if you can keep your train of thought, that's very helpful as a listener. Mm-hmm. So I think the other part that I would, when we know we're going to get with somebody about a conversation, I think us, and particularly when we're helping men through something, or we know we have an appointment. Yeah. They've scheduled it. Right. And I think it's going to be always important. I'll do it with a lot of our meetings. You've heard me when we're bringing people together for a conversation about events, or about some marketing, or about, it could be a number of things. Where would you guys like to start? Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean I don't have a starting point, or potentially have an agenda. Yeah. But when you are, as a listener, gonna sit down with somebody over coffee, over a meal, and that was arranged because they wanted to talk to you?
Yeah.
That's such a great question. And the other one I think is really important is to say how much time you have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I don't have my phone with me, but I'm going to do it with you. I think there's 3 things that are really, really key when you're going to, you have been summoned to be a listener,
Mm-hmm.
to be, okay, SJ, man, thanks for calling. Where would you like to start? Maybe that's the third question.
Mm-hmm.
How much time do we have?
Right.
They say, oh, I got all afternoon. Well, I don't.
I don't. Right.
So,
okay,
hey,
well,
I've got about
an hour.
I've got about 45 minutes,
whatever it is.
and I'll kind of watch the clock. So you're free to talk. And 2, I'm here. I'm here. And you take your phone and you put it somewhere. My ringer's off. I put it somewhere. That sounds like a small thing, but in today's world,
yeah.
it might be one of the greatest ways
Right.
to say. Or if you have a car in the garage or a kid that's in something and you happen to be there at that time, say, hey, there's one call I need to take. And if I do, it's going to be my daughter.
Yeah.
Or my wife. You know, and we have a rule at our house, the Thompsons do. If you really need me and I don't pick up, call me again.
Call right back. Yeah.
So, hey, this is my wife. She's called twice. I don't know what this is. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
Right. I mean, that's life.
Right.
But those are some real preparatory ways to get into a conversation. How much time do we have?
Yeah.
I'm here. Here's my phone.
I'm focused.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And where would you like to start? Last thing you told me on the phone was she left.
Mm.
So where would you like to start?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because sometimes people have told 3 or 4 or 5 people, and you got a certain amount of time. You might get the 15 minutes of stuff that you've already heard. So it's nice if you can give them a reference point of here's what I remember from the phone call.
Yeah. This,
and this.
What's happened since then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff can be,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to call them techniques, SJ, but helpful.
Yeah.
You know, helpful pieces to get into the kind of listening and conversation where you're actually offering the kind of care that you want to.
Right.
That you want to. So
that you would want to experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That whole do unto others the way you want them to before they do it to you. That's not how that goes.
Right.
That whole do unto other thing is really, really something to think about as you're engaging and listening. Like, how do I want to be heard?
Yeah.
Helpful.
Yeah. So I want to just kind of land this today.
We'll do a touch and go. We'll kind of touch down and we'll take off in the next episode.
Yeah. I think we've hit several practical things, but I've got a list of some more that we just haven't quite touched. And then I want to make sure that we explore the feelings and emotions. That's probably, in my mind, the most significant things I'm looking for when I'm listening. The words matter. Mm-hmm. The words always matter. Mm-hmm. But we've had people tell us really difficult stories, and they're stoic.
Yep.
So I'm listening to the words, but I'm listening to how and why and where they're saying those words, and seeing that there's no emotion whatsoever in this, no expression. Or, as we would watch, and we'll talk about later, is the tear.
I know exactly the moment you're talking about, too.
Yeah, the tears, when the tears come, right? So
yeah, I think I shared last episode, where that emotion comes up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember we were talking to this guy, and he was talking about some really hard, traumatic things that his parents did. And he was like, but, they were generally good people. And I had a pretty good childhood.
Yeah.
And finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, you keep saying that. Like, what are you talking about? You just talked about being traumatically abused, and you're saying, but your childhood was pretty good.
Yeah. Naming some of that stuff too.
Yeah, we'll get into
that in the next episode.
Sure.
So thanks for being with us on the Exploring More podcast, listening hope to us in the Exploring More podcast, and we look forward to. We got one more installment on listening well, so we'll see you next time on the Exploring More podcast.
We hope you have enjoyed this episode of Exploring More. The landing page for this podcast is zoe.org/podcast. That's ZOWEH.org/podcast, where you can find the show notes and various platforms to which we broadcast. You can also find us and the Life of More by visiting Zoe on YouVersion Bible app, Right Now Media, our Facebook page, and Zoe on Instagram and Twitter. Remember, with God there is always more, and you were made for more.